Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. From all of us here to all of you out there in the ether, hope your Sunday morning is just going beautiful. And all of you get to leave your slippers on. A second cup of coffee or tea. There is a ship called love. It's getting ready to sail. People I know, you know that it's time to get on board. By the stars up above, we'll steer through storm and gale, and by the grace of God, we'll land on that peaceful shore. We need every hand on deck. You know the seas are gonna get rough, but love's the right stuff to get us over.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean, for reminding us who we are and where we're going. And I want to really appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you. So I want to welcome everybody here to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, and all those of you who are watching and participating with us online, we welcome you as well. And I'm going to add a special welcome to our newest practitioner in the audience, Jennifer, who is in the back. She completed her oral panels yesterday along with Gwyneth and Leanie and others, I'm sure. And we're just so glad to have you here and welcome our new practitioner. Thank you. We teach the science of mind, which is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. The idea that we live in a spiritual universe, that God or Spirit is in, through, and around us, and that this presence is a loving source of all good. So if you're joining us online today, if you're on Facebook, if you're having some difficulty with our sound, you can click on the icon for closed captioning, and that will help if you're having some trouble hearing our service. Of course, I don't know if you can hear that. If you can't hear that, you don't know that, so whatever. And whether you're rejoining our service here or online, we are having a great time being together, and we are so glad that you are here with us. I am practitioner Marilyn Kirk, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our service. This service has been designed especially for you, so welcome home. We wouldn't be able to bring this Sunday service to you without the loving service of many dedicated people who serve as our tech team and our greeters and our ushers and our welcomer, our bookstore team, and clearly our announcement angel is always so welcome. So thank you for all of you for providing this service to us today. And in addition, we have practitioners serving you on High Watch at home, I believe is Kathy, and then we have Carmela and Marilyn here serving as High Watch, offering the invocation and benediction, which will be by Chris Duval. And just so you know, you are supported in so many ways. The talk today will be delivered by our very own Reverend Kamatara Johnson, who just got back from Wisconsin last night. So she's still up in the air, I think, a little bit, so it will be fine. Her talk is titled The One and Only. If you'll join me now in reading our vision and our mission statements. Our vision, transforming our world with the power of love in action. Our mission, loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. Now let us prepare our hearts and our minds for the invocation given by practitioner Chris.
And so I recognize the Divine One, that presence and power of love and light, who has brought us together in this sacred time on this beautiful Sunday morning. And I know that that presence and that power of love and light is present in me and each one here this morning and listening to our service. I know that that divine presence of love and light is leading and guiding our service today and inspiring every speaker, every note that is played and sung. It is inspiring and supporting our technicians. It is blessing every interaction, the social time, the prayers. And I am so grateful for this service this morning as it helps to nourish our souls and support us through the coming week. I am so grateful that each one of us was guided here this morning and is with us in the oneness and in the truth of being. And so I just release this time to the divine sacred work and allow it to unfold in perfection. And so it is.
I have a reading this morning that I found on gratitude, and I just thought this is the perfect idea for us to be focusing on for a few minutes. This article that was written by Robert Emmons, who is the world's leading scientific expert on gratitude. He reveals why gratitude is good for our bodies, our minds, and our relationships. And here's what he says. For more than a decade, I've been studying the effects of gratitude on physical health, psychological well-being, and on our relationships with others. We studied more than 1,000 people from ages 8 to 80 and found that people who practice gratitude consistently report a host of benefits. On the physical side, we have stronger immune systems and are less bothered by aches and pains. Yes. Psychological, more joy and pleasure, and more optimism and happiness. That's another yes. And socially, we're more forgiving and less lonely and isolated. So, what's really behind these research results? Why might gratitude have these transformative effects on people's lives? So, he states several important reasons. Gratitude allows us to celebrate the present. It magnifies positive emotions. Research on emotion shows that positive emotions wear off quickly. Our emotional systems like newness. They like novelty, they like change, and we adapt to positive life circumstances so that before too long, the new car, the new spouse, the new house, they don't feel so new and exciting anymore. But gratitude makes us appreciate the value of something, and when we appreciate the value of something, we extract more benefits from it. We're less likely to take it for granted. Next, he says that gratitude blocks toxic negative emotions such as envy, resentment, or regret, emotions that can destroy our happiness. There's even recent evidence showing that gratitude can reduce the frequency and duration of episodes of depression. This makes sense. You can't feel envious or depressed and sad and grateful at the same time. They are incompatible feelings. So if you're grateful, you can't resent someone for having something you don't. Next is the grateful people are more resistant to stress. There's a number of studies showing that in the face of serious trauma, adversity, and suffering, if people have a grateful disposition, they'll recover more quickly. And lastly, in his article, he states that grateful people have a higher sense of self-worth. When you're grateful, you have the sense that someone else is looking out for you. Someone else has provided for your well-being, or you notice a network of relationships, past and present, of people who are responsible for helping you to get where you are right now. So he offers a few suggestions on how to become more grateful. Now, you may have heard of keeping a gratitude journal. We even had John's mom give us a notebook that says gratitude journal on it. And the idea was that we are supposed to write down every night 5 things we're grateful for. Well, what he says here is that if you establish a daily practice in which you remind yourself of the gifts, the graces, the benefits, and the good things you enjoy, and you setting aside a small amount of time on a daily basis to recall moments of gratitude associated with ordinary events, or your personal attributes, or your physical body, or the valued people in your life. These are ordinary things. This gives you the potential to interweave a sustainable life theme of gratefulness. Next is learning prayers of gratitude. In many spiritual traditions, including ours, prayers of gratitude are considered to be the most powerful form of prayer. In fact, I believe it was Ernest Holmes who said, if you have no other prayer to say, saying thank you is enough. That's pretty important stuff. So you can, these prayers recognize the ultimate source of all they are and all they ever will be. Make a vow to practice gratitude. I'm grateful for Miguelito, helping us know he's here. Research shows that making an oath to perform a behavior increases the likelihood that the action will be executed. Therefore, you can write your own gratitude vow, which could be something as simple as I vow to count my blessings every day, and post it somewhere where you'll be reminded of it. Bathroom mirror, inside the car, somewhere where you always notice, refrigerator. And if you don't feel particularly grateful, you can go through the motions. If you go through grateful motions, the emotion of gratitude should be triggered, and this might be something like just smiling or saying thank you. And lastly is thinking outside the box. If you want to make the most out of opportunities to flex your gratitude muscles, you must creatively look for new solutions and situations and circumstances in which to feel grateful. It's fairly obvious why we might feel grateful for our grandmother or grandfather, lovely sunsets, and anything else that has provided comfort or beauty in our lives. But what about thinking about the homeless people who come to the shelter where you volunteer? Individuals who do volunteer work, including volunteering here at the center, sometimes speak of the benefits they receive from service. Since service to others helped them to find their own inner spirituality, they were grateful for the opportunity to serve. So he argues if we look hard enough, we can find a reason to feel grateful for any relationship. That's a very different way of thinking about gratitude for what we can give as opposed to what we receive. But that can be a very powerful way of cultivating a sense of gratitude. So thank you to Robert Emmons for that talk. So we have some additional music from our special guest musician, Gene Corbin. We're very grateful you are here with us today. Appreciate you. Thank you. Take it.
Now, you know what? I have to finish that song I started singing to you all. There's more to it. There is a ship called love. It's getting ready to sail. And people, I know you know that it's time to get on board. By the stars up above, we'll steer through storm and gale. And by the grace of God, we will land on that peaceful shore. We need every hand on deck. You know the seas are gonna get rough, but love's the right stuff to get us over. Oh, there's a place for everyone, no matter what race or creed. Might have to leave our possessions behind and travel light. No need to push, no need to shove, 'cause we're all family. Brothers and sisters, help each other. It's gonna be all right. We need every faithful heart. Yeah, the seas are gonna get rough. Love's the only ship that can make it across. There's a ship called love. It's getting ready to sail. And people, I know you know that it's time to get on board. People, I know you know that it's time to get on board.
Thank you, Jean. Appreciate you. Now we're going to have a few moments to hear from someone that is very well known to our community. We're blessed to have Reverend Kamatara Johnson with us this morning. She is the new executive director for Circles USA, a nonprofit that is dedicated to ending poverty in the United States. Very, very worthy cause. She's also a substitute minister supporting multiple churches in Albuquerque and in Las Cruces. She's a busy person. And she does regular talks and visitations. Her core mission in all of her work is to empower conscious evolution. Let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Kamatara.
Hello. Got to set it up for short girl. Here we go. Oh, it's good to see you all. And Jean, I love the song. That was very precious. And gratitude reading. Loved it. Beautiful. And I was just thinking, I haven't been here all month. It's been a month. Holy guacamole. I miss y'all. So I'm happy to see you. And I know that Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living follows the monthly themes that the mothership, the Centers for Spiritual Living, offers up. And so this month you've been having fun with relationships. Do you put the fun back in dysfunctional? I'm just saying, we all have crazy relationships. I like to joke that I would be so holy if I did not have to be around people. But really, I think it's the human part that drives us crazy, not the divine part. So really, it's about remembering who and what we are. So let's do some if-then logic, for which Ernest Holmes was so famous, right? If God is all there is, then, let's do the math, you are God, I am God, we are God. This moment we're having is God. The dinner we're going to have, well, the fabulous food we have in the social hall, that's got all of this. This is the something sacred going on. Or like we like to say in our spiritual community, there is no place where God is not. Or we are the place where God shows up. Or I never get tired of the teaching symbol, so we're going there. We know the V is me, surrounded by divinity in me, through me, as me, for infinity. It's right there. But also in the we believes, the first three we believes, which they're kind of meaty. So we're going to hear them again. It's going to sink. I know it'll happen. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed or used up by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. That's number one. Number two, we believe in the individualization of this spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. And here's point three. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. So here's the Kamatara Cliff Notes version. God is, I am, forever. Okay, we got that. So even beyond science of mind, we have been taught this concept in so many ways. It wouldn't even matter which faith you may have been raised in. We know, from our friends in Judaism and Christianity that God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, all the omni words that you could imagine, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, just pick a word with omni in front of it. You got it. But oftentimes we get taught this as a matter of practical application as well. So the practical application is, what would happen if I treated you as the divine being you are? And I know that it sounds easy, but it's not simple. No, it's simple, but not easy. Is that how the phrase goes? Oh my goodness. And that brings us to things like the golden rule, the do unto others as you would have done unto you. That's in at least 13 different sacred texts. It's in the Baha'i faith, Buddhism, Christianity, Confucianism, Hinduism. I got my list. Islam, Jainism, Judaism, and in native spirituality, Sikhism, Taoism, Unitarianism, and Zoroastrianism, talking about going from A to Z. It's right there. We're already taught this concept that we could honor the divinity that is here in the way that we treat each other. And to use a play from the Christian playbook from our friend Jesus, when he was doing his parable about separating the sheep from the goats. So for those of you who know your Bible, it's Matthew chapter 25 towards the end. Okay. He was talking about the folks who are righteous and those who are not. And truly righteous, not the people who pretend that they're righteous, but the people who are really righteous are the ones who are aligned with the divine and can see as God sees and can give as God gives. And those are the ones who enter into the house of my Father, which in the Bible, metaphysically speaking, is always heaven. Which is really interesting to think about. We enter into heaven right here and now when we are aligned with the divine and act that way. Heaven is wherever the divine is fully realized. This also is the chapter in the Bible where Jesus hits us with the whole, for I was hungry and you gave me something to eat, and I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink, and I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me, and I was sick and you looked after me, and I was in prison and you visited me. And remember how the folks listening to him said, oh, but we never saw you having those experiences. If it was you, JC, we would have been right there. Jesus Christ, yes. But, that's little y you, not the big you. If it was you. So Jesus, as he does with his parables and teaching, he says, he hits them with whatever you do to the least of my brethren, that you do unto me. And they have to make that leap, that there is no separation, that when I'm helping you, I'm helping me. And this is where that divine can show up in selfless service. That was the perfect reading that you wound up talking about. Selfless service. Seva is a Sanskrit word meaning exactly that, selfless service, or work performed without any thought of reward or repayment. In ancient India, seva was believed to help one's spiritual growth and at the same time contribute to the improvement of a community. That sounds like the beloved community in action right here, right now. And did you know that selfless service is also a core tenet in the U.S. Army values? Look it up. That's a true story. All of this brings us back to the formula that was so elegantly stated by Reverend Dr. Gary Simmons, our friend at Unity, who said there was only one relationship, and that is with God. Everything else is an outpicturing of that. So just like Jesus was asking his folks to pull out the metaphysical workbench and do the thought experiment, his parables, we're going to do one too. So we're going to pull out our little metaphysical workbench and we're going to run this equation with all different variables and see how it outpictures. So let's start with an easy one. will you picture someone that you love very, very much? Just pull them up in your mind's eye. Oh, and I see the lovebirds looking at each other. That's good too. All right. So think of someone you really love. How does your relationship with that person reflect your relationship with the divine? Just think about it for a minute. That one's maybe a little easier to see because there's a lot of love, there's patience, there's kindness, there's understanding. And even if there is frustration or momentary aberrations, we tend to right the ship and get ourselves back on course because we care about the other person and we work on unconditional love. This person deserves it. They're worth every effort. And is that not how the beloved loves us? So that one we probably can see pretty well. All right, let's go a little step further. Could you think of someone who's just really difficult and unpleasant in your life? And just picture that person. Yeah, we're feeling a little uncomfortable right now. Well, I'm going to ask the question, how does your relationship with that person reflect your relationship with the divine? Maybe I'm just patronizingly tolerant. True story. Yep. Or could I open up a little bit and be compassionately patient? And if I take out that person's name and put in the word God or divinity or spirit or whatever word you want to put in that space, if I take out that person's name and substitute it with God, does the sentence still work? All right, God, I'll be patronizingly tolerant with you. Dang, God, you're so slow. Get it together. What is wrong with you, God? Although I have actually said that, but that's another story. So just trying to think, is there some way to see this person or this situation as God sees it, to give as God gives, to love as God loves? Okay, now I'm going to challenge you a little bit more. Think of someone who absolutely curdles your blood. And it's an election year, so it's not hard to do that. So just take a moment to bring that person forth into your mind. And I'm going to ask the question, how does your relationship with that person, or at least your thinking about that person, reflect your relationship with the divine or your beliefs about the divine? Is that person who would curdle your blood an expression of the divine? Well, what do you believe? We don't get to pick and choose. It either is or it isn't. Oh, yeah, grumble, grumble, ow. Is this the least of my brethren that Jesus speaks of? Is this person here to help me see the face of the divine even where I think it is not? That's advanced. To be able to see the pilot light, that the pilot light of the divine is always lit. Regardless of seeming appearance, regardless of outer expressions, regardless of the worst thing this person has ever done or this horrible situation, if there's no place where God is not, this too is God just waiting to be known. And how would that person or this situation change if you were to know the God in it? Would that be totally different? Might it wipe away a little bit and let that light of the divine shine a little bit more? You know, in Greek culture, when I was teaching the Odyssey with my freshmen back when I was teaching high school, one of the concepts in that culture is that any of the gods, like Zeus, Apollo, pick a Greek god, could show up in human form. So when a stranger came, you never knew who it could be. And so you had to take good care of them because they would reveal themselves and all, you'd either be, good things would go down or not so good things would go down, because they really believed like each person could be an expression of the divine. You don't know. Well, let me take that a step further. We do know. We don't have to question whether a person is or is not or could be God in human form. You are. That's what we believe. And maybe that's a belief that some of us just need to grow into more in practice. It's easy to say, maybe not the easiest to do. Okay, let's run one more thought experiment, and this is the hardest one into the equation. Think about how you treat yourself. What does your relationship with yourself say about your relationship with the divine? Is it generous and loving? Or is it demeaning and condemning and impatient? Can you recognize yourself as the beloved of the beloved? Because you are. And I know that's the bounty of spiritual community. When we can't remember it for ourselves, we remember it for each other, which is wonderful. But for us to practice that, I am the beloved of the beloved. And to say, I am aligned with the divine that is the presence and power within. To own that. Those would be some great affirmations to really help move us down the street. So let's just review. Of the 4 little thought experiments we did, so someone that you love, someone that's a little difficult or unpleasant, someone that's really rough, or yourself. Was there one of those that was really volatile or rough? Okay, let's just put that one on the little metaphysical workbench now. We're just going to focus on that one, put it in the petri dish. All right. And let's just think for a minute. Of this troublesome relationship or person or whatever this is, what quality of the divine would help to shift your perspective or help that situation or just be a healing balm? Take a moment to think, what quality of the divine could make that better? What would deepen that relationship from the very human realm into the divine realm? Is there some way that you could remember yourself, capital S, self? Could you remember yourself in that situation with that person? And here's an extra challenge. Can you take one action step this week towards that shift? Even just one. And just run a little scientific experiment. Just see what might happen. Just one action step towards that divine quality that could come into the situation. This is the living practice of the word namaste. We like that word. Oh, it's so pretty, isn't it beautiful? And we say namaste and we forget what it even means. That the divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. And that's a beautiful concept. But man, that's a deep practice. That is a daily practice. That is an hourly practice. That is a minute by minute practice sometimes. But then we can lean into our divinity to love our humanity. And the only way is through the one and only. The all that is, the one love, one heart, one mind that is expressing as you, as me, as we in the here and now, should we but choose to remember it. and open our eyes to see it and open our hearts to be it. So, as many of us do, I'm going to close my talk by saying namaste, but this time when I say it, could we savor it? And if you feel compelled, you might say it back as well. And to really do the math of it when you're saying it, it's the equation of a sacred life, to breathe life into that namaste. So if you feel so compelled, let's say this together as we end our talk today. Namaste. Thank you. Let's take this to prayer. In this moment, in this place, rooted in the divine, still swimming around in that beautiful namaste of divinity, honoring each other, I feel and know the presence of the one loving source, of the all that is, this thing that I choose to call God. And I know that it is expressing as you, as me, as we, in the here and now. There is no separation. It's the only thing that's going on. It is the sanctity of all of life as we know it, and even beyond what we can understand. And so knowing that I am, you are, aligned with the divine that is the presence and power within, I know that we each have access to all the qualities of the divine. We have access to the infinite warehouse of possibilities, and we have the capacity to bring those qualities of the divine to any situation, to any person, and especially to ourselves. I affirm for each person here that their deep felt beliefs about God, about the divine, outpicture in beautiful ways in your lives. That there is alignment between belief and practice, between heart and mind and soul. That each person here is a conduit for selfless service, for loving each other, and for seeing the divine when other people cannot. I affirm that each person has the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the heart to feel, the words to heal, the hands to help, and the feet to keep on walking. And I'm so grateful for this time to tap back into our truth, to remember principle, to think about how this applies to our life and our loved ones and our not so loved ones, that it all applies. That there is no place where God is not, and I welcome the bounty that that brings into my life this week. And so with heartfelt gratitude for this beautiful spiritual community where we get to do our work and support each other, and for all the bounty that comes out of this sacred time together, I give thanks. And I let it go and let it be, knowing that all is well. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Kamatara. Even before you said the namaste, I was thinking about our a women's retreat that I've been a part of for a number of years. And during one part of our retreat, we always sing as the team. We sing to each woman there, "The goddess in me beholds the goddess in you." Namaste. Thank you. Yes. Now it's time to dig a little deep into our pockets, our purses, or whatever you've got, to share some of your abundance with us. For those of you who are joining us online, there are multiple ways to give, which is scrolling across the screen right now. And those of you present here in the center, we welcome you to approach the podium and to place your offering in the baskets that are provided here on the stage. And just to know that everybody's donations, your giving, your offering, These are very essential to the ministries that we have here, and that we are sincerely grateful for everything you can share, no matter how large or how small. We thank you for that. So after we say our giving affirmation, and you can approach the podium, we will hear another song from Jean. So please say the giving affirmation with me. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. And so it is.
And so it is. Well, this is embarrassing, but I've sung all the songs I know. Encore. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. Skies, skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
Thank you, Jean. It doesn't matter which song you sing, we all love it. So just keep on going. That's really, really nice. Thank you. And so let's just take a moment and help me bless these offerings. If you just put your hands forward and send all your love and your thankfulness for this. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for these and all your gifts. We are grateful for the provision of for all of our ministry needs and more. We're thankful for the infinite abundance in the universe, for our good health, our friends and our families, and especially for the opportunity to express our love and appreciation to each other. In these moments of gratitude, we allow ourselves to appreciate the abundance and prosperity that comes to our center. Each gift and giver are blessed and valued. And now we declare that each person's peacefulness, joy, and abundance is increased 1,000-fold. And please join me by anchoring this prayer with, And so it is. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to welcome any visitors who are here with us for the first time. And if you are visiting with us, I just would like to invite you to see Carol Ann Armijo, who will be back at the desk back there where all those beautiful yellow flowers are. And she has information about our center, and she will also give you a flower. And we are very glad you're here. Please join us after the service in the social hall, and so we can get acquainted with you and share some time together. And if you are new to us online, we're glad you're here as well. And we hope that you will drop by our center if you're in the area, and we would love to meet you also. We have some mini prayer treatments that are offered by the practitioners who are here in the center. And you can recognize the practitioners by the purple stoles that they wear, or you can just come up to the front of the sanctuary and we'll be happy to offer you a quick, painless prayer for you. And remember that prayers can be also for something joyful, not because something's wrong. So we'd like to help you with that regardless of the situation. And in addition, we have a prayer box at the back of the sanctuary that you can fill out a prayer request form. And those forms are also available in the seat pockets right in front of you. And these are short prayers that you can add, or you can also go online and go to the website at Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living.org and click on the prayer request at the top of the screen. And our prayer practitioners will be delighted to support your prayer requests throughout this week. And so our next thing to do is to welcome Dr. Norm, who will be coming up to share the morning announcements. Welcome, Norm. Yay, Norm.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Reverend Kamatara. That was awesome. And I will have to take away here. I made a note. God is, I am forever. Yes. I like simplicity, but you do have some really deep, profound things to say. So thank you. Gene, as usual, I always love your the way you spin the music. It just makes it, sparkle. Hey, guess what? Today is July 31st. It's the last day before Gil takes over. Reverend Gil is going to take over, and he becomes the helm of our center here tomorrow, August 1st. And also, we brought in a new part-time administrative coordinator, Davin Teague. He will be on board now, and Davin. Now it says administrative coordinator. I don't know if he's going to be coordinating the administrators or if he's going to be administering coordination, but in any event, he'll be here. And also, Michael Cowden will still be here. He's going to do some part-time work. So we're getting a gang of people here, new people, Reverend Gill and all these people here. So it's going to be a lively year coming up. Okay, there's a back-to-school supply drive. And guess what? School is starting, next month here. And some of these teachers just don't have the resources to fund and take care of these students. The students don't have the resources, so there's some underprivileged students here that need some supplies. So what we're going to do is the center is coordinating a back-to-school drive with our A-plus academic coaching person, Mark Ayers, who's the co-president here. And his organization is going to be helping to fund this or to provide the impetus for making this happen. So this is going to be going from last Sunday through August 21st. Now, here's some things to think about. So if you're out at Costco or wherever you go shopping, here's some things that the school and the students need. Lunch boxes. Anybody here remember carrying a lunch box? Boy. I threw mine up in the air one day and it had a thermos in it and landed on the ground, and I didn't know why the milk was flowing out all over the place because it broke the innards. Anyway, markers, pens and pencils, erasers. People make mistakes. Wide ruled notebooks, lined paper, backpacks. I hear the backpacks are a big thing that they need, and more. So if you don't have the time to go shopping and find these things, you can always make a donation, and the center and Mark will probably go out and buy some stuff that's needed. So be sure you drop that stuff off anytime the center is open. Don't forget, we stand for Ukraine and independence, and peace. That's still going on over there. So we stand for that. The Compassion Ministries every week has a nice little saying and a notice in the newsletter. And this week it's the 5 love languages. Here's what they are. These are different ways of expressing and receiving love. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. You need to know more about that? On the newsletter, there's some links in there and YouTube's videos that explain more about that. So be sure you check that out. And the last announcement is not in the newsletter. Now, somebody didn't put that in the newsletter. That would be me. I forgot to send it off. But I did have a conversation with Reverend Gill because I had talked to him about some other issues. He said, okay, go ahead and put it in there. I just forgot to send it off. So here's the deal. We've had several men's groups in this organization and other centers like this. And it seems like we don't have one right now. So I'm going to let you know that there is a men's group gathering called Bring a Buddy. And there are several people in this organization that belong to this group. This is a 30-year-old group. They meet once a month on Tuesdays. It's a multi-dimensional, multi-diverse group. It's not political or religious. And we meet once a month. This month, we're going to be meeting August 2nd, Tuesday, from 6:45 to 8:30. It's all Zoom. If you need to know that Zoom link, you're going to have to get a hold of me because it's not in the newsletter. And they have speakers come in once a month to talk about various things relating to wellness and being a man. And this month, they're having a speaker. His name is Norm Dawson. And he's going to be talking about cognitive decline. Okay. Lastly, reoccurring. And lastly, the recurring events. There are several of them in the newsletter, but I'm going to mention this one here because this happens every week. It's Thursday Zoom. It's a Course in Miracles group online, and right here, Nancy Bowers is delivering that information. So be sure you check that out. And anything else that I forgot will be in the newsletter, except for the one that I did not. And that's it from me, live from New Mexico, Sunday morning announcement.
That's too much, Norm. Thank you. Chris, I'd like to invite you to come up. We will have our closing benediction and then a closing song from Jean. And then we invite you all to join us in the social hall. Have a good week.
So it is our time to give gratitude for a wonderful Sunday morning gathering, a sacred time where the divine power of love and light was demonstrated through a very powerful and inspiring talk, food for our mind and soul and practice, through music that touched our souls, through laughter and prayer. Just give thanks for all of it and bless it as it goes forth with us into this week to make our way straight and loving and full of light. We know that this guidance and protection goes with us. We just bless this time together, knowing it has been good. And we now release it, saying, Namaste. And so it is.
I always leave here ready for the week. I like that. And you all know Annette for a while now, and I've often wondered if you set Annette down in the middle of a park, if dogs and little babies would come flying over to her. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I'll watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.